also, Kevin, for the record, you can't beat Super Mario Brothers 3 in 2.5 hours.
Ooh,
Easily.
I like
Easily.
that one.
No.
Easily.
No.
Easily.
No.
I would.
Maybe if you have the warp pipe.
Yeah,
But if you
I was
actually
gonna
wanna
be
play all
like,
the
man, how
levels-
many times have you played Mario 3 that you can?
I'm
do
pretty
it in
sure.
All right, let's
I'm pretty sure you can beat Mario 3 in an hour and a half.
see what
Easy.
the speed run Mario.
They're using
I bet you
warp
the
pipes
speed
even
run-
in the speed run. I
I
want
bet you-
all levels. I want 100%.
Yeah, no,
Tell
this
me-
is not any percent. This is no
Okay.
warp
Yeah, give
whistles.
Yep.
All
Give
right,
me full.
warp
Give me
whistles,
full.
yeah.
It's gonna be. I might even go so far as to say it's under an hour.
It's like,
I'm
the original
serious.
Super Mario Brothers
All
maybe like an hour, but no.
right, well,
no.
I'll do any percent warpless. Wow. 49 minutes and 50 seconds.
That's
is the
right.
number one.
That's right.
All
God
right,
damn.
let's
That-
look at.
Well, he's not.
I'm telling
that's
you, when
like-
I-
But you can't.
I'm tell-
You do that. You can do like on the overworld. You don't have to play every level. Obviously,
No, absolutely
even
not.
Without
Yeah.
like.
And
That's
again,
nuts.
these are the world records. Like 100% is still.
Look who you're talking
on
to
the
here.
out.
Look who you're talking to here. You're talking to world record
That
Mario
is
player here.
insane.
Hey everybody, welcome to Pursuing Pixels. My name's Kevin Portelli, and I'm here tonight with John Hines
Hey there.
and Randall Nolery.
Hey, folks.
And we are back as always to talk about some video games. I think last time around I said I couldn't think of anything to say at the intro here, and I'm in the same exact boat this time around. Not that I ever try to come up with anything like clever to say during the intro here, but nonetheless, I don't know. I usually try to lead into whatever we're going to talk about, but we got a little video game action to dig into here, and I think this one, I don't know, Randall, it seems like you were maybe aware of this game before I was, but I only discovered it when I was watching, there was a Nintendo partner showcase for the Switch and Switch 2, and they showcased a bunch of games coming out from not necessarily just indie, it was separate from the Indie World showcase that they just had as well. Mm-hmm. But this just kind of showcased some Square Enix games I think that are coming, a handful of other ones as well, but I happened to catch that there was a new Shinobi game coming down the pipeline, and I feel like you got a little more of that Sega lineage and background, so why don't you take the lead here, and especially since you were kind of, I think, already aware of this game before they kind of announced that it was coming.
Yeah, I was tracking it a little bit. Definitely have experience with some of the Shinobi games, although not as much for Sega franchises. I'd say the only Shinobi that I super duper love beforehand was Shinobi 3 on Sega Genesis, which is very awesome and action oriented and holds up to this day.
Yeah, definitely stands above the other two. At least playing on Switch Online, I don't think they have the original Shinobi, but they do have Shinobi 2, Revenge of Shinobi, I think it's called.
Yeah, a lot of people
Shinobi 3
stand
is
by Revenge, but I like 3
it's solid.
a lot.
It's solid, but 3 just is a cut above
I agree.
by a long shot. Yeah,
but both of us like our fast paced action a little bit more, so that's
agreed.
That definitely informs it. But yeah, I was following this, and then Limited Run was going to do the physical publishing of it. So I grabbed Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which is this new game, along with the Eartheon physical, the Yuzo Koshiro Sega Genesis shmup, but is being released on modern platforms as well. So
nice.
Yeah, got those at the same time. So been tracking for a little bit here, But yeah, then you said, oh, they have a demo for the Shinobi game. And I'm like, well, I know with these limited run physical releases, usually I'm waiting a minute for those to come through, which is what it is. I want the physical ultimately. I'm willing to wait. I have plenty of other games I can play, but I'm like, this is perfect opportunity to dive into a demo to kind of just get a little taste of it in the interim. And I'm digging this Shinobi Art of Vengeance demo. It's giving me some of the Shinobi 3 kind of vibes as far as the speed of the action of Shinobi, which is awesome. Like the visual style of the game quite a bit too, and just the the game feel. It's all very immediate and just like driven by the kinetic action of like enemy to enemy. You're almost like bouncing between them, and even have kind of like that drop kick attack almost like homes on them a little bit in a way that feels really good, right? So
yeah,
just kind of keeps you moving. There's like a natural momentum to it that reminds me of Shinobi 3.
Yeah, it definitely, that's the game it most closely reminded me of, not being a huge fan or even like having played a ton of those games in the series, in the past, but yeah, having just kind of dabbled on the Switch Online. And I think I own both of those, Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3 on Genesis as well.
Same. Yep.
And have played them, over the years. I might have the first one also, but if I've ever played it, just very sparingly. But definitely Shinobi 2, like, immediately feels like one of those, like, older Genesis games. Like, it's one of those games where you fire it up and it makes you realize that, like, oh, the Genesis was like a contemporary of the NES, not necessarily of the Super Nintendo.
1989, release, and it's not quite Altered Beast level of like archaic, but it's definitely early days, that Shinobi, Revenge of Shinobi,
and then Shinobi 3 kind of kicks it into that next gear where okay, now we're really making this Genesis sing a little bit. And you can do like the double tap to run. This game doesn't have anything like that. Like, you're kind of already kind of running at a quick clip. You don't have to do any double tapping, which is nice. That is a mechanic that I come to accept after a while in games like Kirby or whatever else. But it is kind of annoying. It's nice to just like, hey, just give me a good run speed that I don't have to keep switching between.
And it feels a little bit better with the flow. If in the modern context, we're using the analog sticks more often as a primary control. And I feel like double tap worked a little bit better with D-pad, at least in my feel.
Agreed.
So that's nice too.
Yeah, but I'm in full agreement with you. Like, you got a double jump right off the bat. It seems like you're also going to get like some different unlocks, like basically just upgrading with your currency to like get new combos and different things you can different abilities and attacks you can do. But you still have a pretty decent set of just regular moves right from the get go.
Yep.
And it's nothing crazy where you're like having to like. Sometimes it's kind of annoying. It's like, do I really want to spend 2,500 whatever amount of money on this move that I have to type in, or not type in, but do a particular combo to execute it? Like,
right.
I'm gonna maybe do it 1 or 2 times when I first get it and then never do that combo again. So it's like, do I really want to unlock this? I don't know. Maybe I'll see. Maybe I want to see what else is further down the line.
That's what I did too. Like, even though, because that shop only crops up every so often, and then like if you don't buy something, then it kind of disappears once you're kind of away from that screen, at least in my experience. And you kind of have to like progress further into the next sections of that said level or world, however that's designed in the final game, before you get the opportunity again. And that time, obviously, with more money from the item boxes you've opened, or maybe enemies that had some of that coin on them when you killed them, to save up. But I didn't buy anything at that first couple of shops that I went to, because I'm like, I don't know about this like attack that I can only do in the middle of a combo. Let me hold off for this one that's like 9,000 credits for this very specific thing,
for this health upgrade, or give me an extra hit point or whatever it is.
Or like a big attack that's like way more easy for me to pull off whenever, sort of thing,
like an easier combo, or just like an aerial attack or something like that. That's just more of like a one input sort of thing.
Right. Quarter circle or whatever sort of thing I'm supposed to do at that point. And that's pretty cool. And then there's like these Shinobi executions, which it seems like this game is going to focus on a lot as well, for like, putting in this command once your meter gets to a certain point. Putting in a certain command will like go into like a fatality slow-mo mode of an enemy, and often refill some of your health and bar status stuff to kind of keep you going too, which is nice.
Yeah, it definitely seems like there's like almost like a goal. You can like kind of like whittle down the enemies into like this like not stun state, but once they like have this icon above their head, so you can do multiple, and like as many of them as you can fill on the screen. Then once you trigger this attack, you're gonna like chain and kill every single enemy that is in that stun state.
Ooh,
so it seems like it's gonna like lean into that like combo action.
How many did you get? Because I could only do that with like one enemy at a time. I
think the most I got was like 4 or something like that.
Nice.
But And I did play through the whole demo, and I was really pumped because, like, what I was getting the inkling from, like, the way, like, when you're playing the game, you can pause it, and there's, like, a map and stuff like that, and it's, like, scrolling, and it's like, oh, this looks like it's going to be a huge map, big old Metroidvania situation. But best I could tell, I, like, beat the level, and it looked like it was going to, like, move to the next stage. So,
nice.
you know, they have a map for the level itself, and maybe there'll be some little nooks and crannies for you to explore and find some secrets.
That's what it feels like.
Because there's, like, checkpoints and stuff, too. So I thought for sure, like, oh, this feels like a Metroidvania for sure. Like, similar to, like, that Strider Metroidvania that came out maybe, like, 10 years ago now that we talked about whenever, you know, however long ago. But yeah, it just got me really pumped. I was like, this plays super fluid. Like you said, the art style is real nice. It's like mostly like kind of like a hand-drawn 2D, but there's like a little bit of a 2.5D, like 3D-ness to it. Like when at the very beginning, when I was like jumping over those wood like platforms, when they're just like tutorializing you how to do the double jump and stuff, I was like, oh, there's like some depth to that. Like it looks almost like it's like cell shaded and like in 3D on that platform.
Yeah, it's the Lizard Cube is the main developer of it, and they're the ones that have done the art for like Streets of Rage 4 and Wonder Boy.
That's right.
Dragon's Trap, like, so they've got that lineage too, and obviously Streets of Rage 4 I have praised endlessly on this podcast.
That's right. Yeah, I totally forgot that it was them, that same team. So that's awesome to see them continuing on and doing taking another classic Sega franchise and, you know, bringing it up to the current generation or whatever. Bringing out a new iteration of it.
Yeah, seems real good.
Yeah, I'm definitely pumped for it. I don't know if I probably missed my window to get that limited run physical copy, but I'm definitely going to be scooping this game up down the line at some point. But this is a perfect game that I'm glad they had a demo, because so many of these like retro, you know, remakes, reimaginings, rebirths, whatever you want to call them, like they can be such busts and such cash grabs sometimes. And so definitely. A ton of them can be awesome too. So
very easy for it to be
just like a demo,
cynical, driven by nostalgia and nothing else sort of thing.
Exactly.
I feel like Sega's generally pretty good about that sort of thing, especially lately.
They are, yeah, agreed, especially lately. And the fact that they're willing to like stand behind it with a demo, it almost like gives me that extra confidence that like, okay, this game's going to be good.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not messing around.
Agree.
So, but yeah, to keep it, I guess, in the pseudo-retro realm here, I guess a little bit even more pseudo, we've been playing a little bit of UFO 50 lately, which just came out on Switch. I've talked about this game almost ad nauseum. I feel like I was going on and on, whether on Save It for the Cast or on the podcast, or I recorded like a ton of videos for the UFO 50 stuff a while back. But during the most recent Indie World presentation, like towards the end of it, they kind of like just like real quickly like announced that it was available. Like I can't believe it wasn't like a little bit more prominent in the showcase. But it was just like, oh, and this is available today, like while they were rattling off 25 other games.
First console release for a game that tons of people I know were waiting for it to drop on console, myself included.
I was almost like in a different time, like in a time when I wouldn't have been like wanting to record some videos and like just wanting to play it right away. Like I would have just waited. I always just waited for games to come to console. And if they didn't, I just never played them, you know. And this was one I was just like, I got to check it out on PC. I don't want to wait. Who knows how long it's going to be. There was word that it was coming to consoles, but there was definitely no like definitive information about it. So, nonetheless, like we were talking about before we started recording, at least I will probably end up scooping up that physical deluxe edition as well.
I did, and
just triple dipping on this game. Oh, you already did. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know if you actually already pulled the trigger on that.
First fan gamer order since 2020, baby.
Ooh,
let's go.
Nice. I forgot it was coming through them. That's awesome. But yeah, I have actually been playing a decent amount of this already since I've re-downloaded it or repurchased it on the Switch here. But why don't I let you take the lead here as well, Randall, since you're kind of getting some first time hands on with it here.
Yeah, and you have spoken of it a lot, but otherwise I've not really looked up too much about this because I knew I would play it eventually. I knew enough to know that I wanted to try to play it with the Switch NES controllers because it is effectively that, fake 8-bit platform. And this is just perfectly in my wheelhouse that way. And, I can report back after charging the NES Switch controllers. Unfortunately, you can only charge them by the rails on the original Switch because there's no USB-C port on these controllers.
Good God.
So, yeah. And I used to have a charger that would like have enough vertical space to allow for those where it wasn't having to be hooked up to the system, but then that charger died. So back to trying to charge off an old Switch in order to then immediately turn around and pair it with the new Switch. Was able to do that and play these games with an NES controller, which is really cool and felt natural.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Although no home button, but it's okay because you can immediately like pause and go in the UFO 50 menu and then select a different quote unquote cartridge very easily from the library, which is great. I love how they've taken the concept of basically like an NES equivalent hardware virtually and said, here's the releases from, a fake 1982 through a fake 1989 concept, because that follows the same sort of trajectory, as the NES, when by the end, in the beginning, you're looking at like a very simple Clue land, and by the end, Kirby's Adventure practically looks like a Super Nintendo game on the exact same hardware, which is bonkers. So, I love that they followed that same sort of concept of like still within the hardware limitations, but like, let's show you, once we've squeezed everything out of the box that we've made for ourselves, what that can look like and feel like, and still obviously has a constraint of 2-button input and a D-pad primarily, which I love that too.
Yeah, that's honestly one of my favorite things about the package is just that like whole fantasy world of like video games that were released over the course of like almost a decade,
including the splash screens and how those evolve over time.
Exactly.
With like the UFO soft and stuff is so cool. Like they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They
nailed like every single element of that part of the game, of the package or whatever. Yeah.
Games are very difficult on average. Some of them are a bit inscrutable to start
with. And yes.
And that's a lot. But I'm okay with that. As we were talking about before the pod, with this like physical release that I was unaware of beforehand, but have now double dipped for. The special edition comes with this guide, and Kevin was just saying like, oh, at least that guide will like give us a little bit of peek behind the inscrutability, hopefully, to know this is what you should be doing in like even like the first game. I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing here? I'm like, I'm walking
That's
around.
That's like one of the most obtuse games in the collection. Yeah,
it is, which is hilarious.
It is like so primitive. Like at first, like, cause that was, I'm guessing was that the first game you fired up as well? Yeah. Like I just went straight to the first one in the package and I was like,
Barbuda.
Oh man. I was like, I don't know what I signed up for here. Like this might be too retro for me.
But that's what it is too.
As games progress,
that follows the soul of it's not just graphics and engine and power and like understanding development from that angle over time. It's also like game design as a concept over time, right? This is 1982 fake version, and we're gonna be like, here's this game like warts and all, and they probably based it on an existing game that one of the developers liked and was probably the only person that liked said game, and I'm gonna make one of those, which is great. I love that. But there's all kinds of genres across the board. I've only had the opportunity to boot this a few times, but I've tried to boot almost every game. Tina and I, with both NES controllers, have played a handful of these and had some pretty good times on a few of them that were like a little bit more cooperative. I'm thinking
because I think just about half of the games are either co-op or competitive up to 2 players.
Yeah. So. Yeah, there's one that's like a Parasol Stars or like Bubble Bobble like that I was definitely into, where you're like kicking a soccer ball around.
Yes, I love that game.
Get to the soccer ball. Yeah, that
kick.
was,
I think it's Kick Club, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right.
But that game's awesome, whatever
Very good.
It's called. I love that one. It just feels great to play.
It does. They nailed that too. Like they know exactly what they're doing with the feel and look of a lot of these games that way. There's like a dodgeball-esque sort of concept that was also pretty good and kind of knew what it was doing. Wasn't quite dodgeball, but that was kind of the essence of it. It was like a super dodgeball sort of idea, you know.
Yeah, that's probably one of the ones that's clicked with me the least, but I've only played it single player, so
right.
that's one that I was like, I wish I had somebody to play, against with or something.
Yes, but I haven't even tried to. There are some that I haven't booted. Like there's one that's an RPG. I'm like, I'm not even gonna try to like jump into that. There's a couple of like the ones that seem like they were denser strategy experiences, where I'm like, I need a protected time to like really kind of swim in this for a while. But I love this package as a concept, even if most of the games are kicking my ass pretty good to start with. But that's fine too.
Yeah, no, you'll definitely, I'll say, like, that was my experience too right off the bat, was like, I am just getting destroyed by these games. Like, maybe I'm not a retro gamer anymore. But like once I started like learning the ropes and having just like a little more, I basically having to like relearn that retro patience, a little bit, and like, don't be so like antsy to just rush to the next like, thing to attempt or the next enemy to slash down or whatever. Like, just take your time. Go through the motions, like, and just take your time. But it's been really fun digging into these games on Switch. Pardon me. But I fired up a handful of them. The one game I just wanted to give a quick shout out to, and one of my favorites in the collection. And the first game I've like not fully beaten. I didn't get a cherry cartridge, but I did get the gold cartridge, which is like usually you get for like, quote unquote beating the game or seeing credits. Warptank. Have you played any of that one, Randall?
Yeah. Like, oh God, brain. The upside downy game, NES, reverse polarity. Metal Storm.
Not Metal. I was gonna say Metal Combat, but that's the Super NES Super Scope game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Metal Storm. But yeah, same type of gameplay. You control this tank that like just can, run along the ground, or you press a button and it flips to the ceiling, or in a lot of cases there's like these curved walls that you can then like ride up and then get on the side of the wall.
Yeah.
And then you can then teleport. So you like sometimes you basically can go on all over the map. But the thing I love about this game, and I think I probably talked about it when I talked about the UFO 50 stuff before, but it's got like an overworld, which is almost like a big level in and of itself. Not huge or anything, but a pretty big level that you have to like puzzle your way through just to get to the other levels. And then when you get to the levels, you have to like enter them, and then it takes you into like an actual level that has more like enemies on it, where like in the overworld, you're just trying to puzzle out and get from point A to point B.
Right.
And trigger a few like, switches or whatever, beat enough levels to like open up a new gate for you to like be able to explore a new area. But it gets tricky.
I even
like,
love that
one
overworld
part,
though. Like
it's
going
awesome.
to those like capsules and stuff.
It feels like, so satisfying. Yeah,
it's
the way
so
like,
cool.
Yeah, just that whole world design of it is so awesome. And then it's a pretty long game. Like each game like tracks your playtime within it if you look at like the different tabs on it. And so I beat the game, and it was about 2.5 hour long game. Like that's more than you're gonna get out of like a typical NES game. Like if I played Mario 3 start to finish, be about that long, if that. And it seems like there's even more, because there's like these coffee cups that you can collect. Apparently there's one on every single level. I only got one after I killed the final boss. Which I don't know if that means that it's like now unlocked, like I have to go back and replay the levels and they're there. I never tried replaying a level after I beat it, so maybe they pop up automatically after you beat them the first time. I don't know, but like now that I've beaten the game, quote unquote, it shows there's technically 5 levels that I haven't found. So it shows I've beaten 22 out of 27 levels, and then it shows I have 1 out of however many coffee cups. So I think out of 27 coffee cups. So I got to go back and try to replay and find those. But you even like, there were like these different pads that like changed your tank into like a different style of tank. I don't know if it actually did anything other than make it look different visually.
Okay.
But it kind of made me feel like I had like more power when I was shooting or something like that. Like it kind of felt like I was upgrading my tank. But it was just really cool because it's mostly like when it starts out, it feels like it's going to be very much a puzzle platformer. But it really leans into some action as well. Like it's not like a full blown bullet hell or anything, but you really start like, again, there's like a couple boss battles and you really got to, wrap around the full screen and be dodging and teleporting to the other side in the right time. And it just got a really cool, like, this game almost has more of like a Game Boy Color look to me. Even the way, the one thing weird about it is like the camera scrolls like not smoothly. It scrolls like one tile at a time or something. So it's like a little bit jarring when you first play it. Like it's like real choppy. If you're just like staring at your tank, you don't really notice it that much. But if you're like looking at the surroundings a little more, you're like, I don't know. It's just like a little bit odd. Like it looks like it's like, if it was the first game you fired up in the collection, you'd be like, is something running incorrectly? But obviously I'm playing everything else and it's running fine.
Came out in 1985.
But yeah, that one's one of my favorites in the collection for sure. And I guess that goes without saying with it being the first one that I've beaten. But it's just like, goes to show that like that game alone would have been a game that I could have easily paid $5-10 for and been totally satisfied with my purchase. Let alone paying $25 for a 50-game collection that even if 2 of them are that good, it's worth the money. So it's like, it's just crazy to me how much they packed into this package.
It is. It's bonkers. And I was impressed just from the diagonal, like jumping between the walls or ceilings diagonally. It was not something I was expecting to be able to do, especially that early on in that game. Like they just practically immediately just said, this is a concept that you also can do. And another way of traversing these levels, potentially sideways, as it were, to go back and forth and like go on these switches. And there's a lot of just like attacks happening too. Like you said, it's not just pure strategy or the puzzle of the level, as it were, which, I thought, again, Metal Storm had a nice balance of that too. So just kind of cool to feel those vibes that way, like the soul of Metal Storm kind of continuing on just in this, like you said, 1 out of 50 games. Kind of nuts.
It's just kind of nuts. It's like I almost like don't even stop and think about that sometimes. That like they actually made 50 full-blown games. And like I think I even said when I first talked about it, like, oh, they feel more like Game Jam games and this and that. And they do in some regards, but they feel like post-jam, like really polished, really well done Game Jam games that you could sell for $5 each, like if not more. So
I totally agree.
Yeah.
There's like a really good beat 'em up in there too. I can't remember exactly what the names of these are because
it's like Fist Hell or something like that.
And even though it's hard, it was like both, like, it just felt like a souped up Double Dragon of the era sort of experience. And like, that's sweet too. Complete with little secrets and ability to pick up, enemy weapons and all the stuff you would expect from like not the first release in the beat 'em up series, but like subsequent releases in what you could do. So there's a lot of that love going on across these individual games, I feel like.
Yeah, and like you said before, I really do feel like they like cover just about every genre. There's like a horror point and click type game. There's like and that one's the one that I really want to check out more because I really was loving the vibes. I think that one's called Night Manor or something like that. And it just had like a really cool, spooky kind of vibe that was just hitting the right notes when I checked it out. But I was like, I want to like really, turn out the lights and play this at night kind of thing.
Totally.
But yeah, I'm just really pumped. Just like I suspected, like I've already put 2, 3, 4 hours into this game on Switch. And I put a decent amount of time into it on my computer, but I definitely know this is going to be like, play a few games before bed.
Yeah.
It's actually funny when I'm in the middle of a game. I can't tell you how many times I hit like ZL and ZR to try to go to like the Nintendo Switch Online menu to like switch games. I hit that to go to like the home menu or whatever. I keep doing that thinking like, I'm just playing this retro collection on my Switch.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, wait a second. This is like actually a game. And I pause it and go. And even that though, like the little theme song that plays on like the main menu is so good. Just everything about the package, they just nailed it.
Yeah, it feels almost like it's one of those mini consoles that got released or something. It kind of has a layout kind of like that with the menus, and
Yeah.
The sheen and the polish that they've given the whole experience of it.
Yeah. I think I even said this before, but I'm almost half expecting it to sometime down the line get like an actual mini console, like physical version. So maybe we can quadruple dip on this one.
I would do it.
I definitely. If they make something like that, I'll buy it in a heartbeat.
Same. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be one extra thing on there that wasn't part of the other releases.
Right, UFO 51. I think there actually is like a hidden like 51st game in there. You have to like go into like the boot.
I was looking at the Wikipedia page and I see that there is a 51st something or another there. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go into like the boot terminal and like plug in some kind of Game Genie code. I don't know.
My God.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Amazing.
But any more on UFO 50 for now? I'm sure we'll probably end up coming back to this one if you and Tina especially are going to keep dipping into it.
Yeah, I'm for sure going to keep dipping into this. I wish I could have booted it even more, but I will be. I'm really enjoying my time, even though I'm just getting my face kicked in, but that's fine.
No, that's the exact experience I had too. Between that and like the obtuseness of a lot of the games, it's like, what is going on?
Especially the strategy ones. I'm like, this looks awesome. I have no idea how to even interact with this right now, but I'm glad it exists.
Yeah. A lot of trial and error. It's like a lot of like situations where it feels like somebody just like lent you a game that you knew nothing about, and you just like popped it in, and let's see what's happening here.
I know,
it's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
it's an interesting approach that they took, because they easily could have like had like a menu screen for each game or some kind of tutorial for each game, and they kind of just totally bypass that. And it feels
that's fair.
Retro
like I know when I was collecting NES as like a 6, 7,
exactly
8, whatever year old, and the system had been out for a minute, a lot, years by that point. Is just what we could afford. And I'm going to the flea market and buying random loose cartridges. You're not getting a manual or any other things about it there. You're getting whatever's on that game to teach you, or you just kind of keep poking around until you start figuring things out. So I think there's an essence of the experience there too.
Yeah, I feel like they really tried to recapture that specific feeling, like the hunting down retro games and just being like, oh, I don't know what this is, but let's check it out and see what it's all about.
Yes.
What
a joy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you're digging it.
Mm-hmm.
But to wrap things up here for the evening, why don't we kick it over to John to see what you've been getting up to on the gaming side of things?
Yeah, so I've been playing NieR Replicant, of all things. In my effort to put off playing any more of my resolution game or putting any time into it. But I decided to pick up NieR Replicant, which was a game that I have had for a while. I've played a little bit of NieR Automata, but not enough to like actually have dug into it of any like substance.
Same.
Like, I know that, these games, spoiler if you care, there's the expectation to kind of play through them multiple times, or they're designed to kind of incorporate the idea of save files and beating a game multiple playthroughs like into the actual game. So there's this meta structure of the game itself built into these games. So I started playing NieR Replicant, the remake version of the original re-release, and playing it is, I think, actually like stuck with me a little bit more than Automata was, which was interesting because I think, in general, like I vibe more with sci-fi. I vibe more with like, a really streamlined kind of like, they're not necessarily collectathons, but they're very like intensive, like systems heavy games that have they're these sort of God of War-esque era, or Bayonetta, like action RPGs. But the other thing that I was thinking about as I was playing Replicant in particular was how much they felt a lot like Team Ladybug games, where they are these kind of like action RPG shmup hybrids but with NieR in particular being the 3D version of that, as opposed to like the Team Ladybug being the Metroidvania 2D version of that. And that was mostly as I was getting into boss battles and realizing that I was basically playing them exactly the same, where you kind of position yourself where you're using the, bullet auto attack, or, kind of aiming it in NieR like a third person shooter where you're aiming the bullets, but you're mostly paying attention to like dodging the attacks that are coming towards you.
And love that.
There's a lot of leeway in what you can do and customization in terms of your loadouts and like magical abilities or weapons that you can have. And like I was really getting deep into it and really enjoying it in a way that I wasn't necessarily expecting to for a game that I was picking up on a whim. But a thing that I really was not expecting to like dive deep into when playing NieR Replicant was the fishing minigame or mechanic of them, which was in Automata, but I remembered not really being much of a mechanic. It was, and I went back and revisited it to confirm, and it was basically you find a body of water, you press A near it, and after the bobber jiggles for a little bit, then wow, you have a fish. That's it.
I remember it being like a nice surprise when I was playing that game. Like, I didn't expect fishing to be in this game, so it was like a nice, like, pleasant little, what a cool little touch. But like, it's not when you were describing it in Replicant. I was like, it's definitely not that involved.
And like, I've been playing Monster Hunter series, which also has fishing as like a core mechanic of it, and the later games, they're significantly more streamlined or easier, whereas like in the earlier games, like you have to have the bait that you're attaching and you have to like hit it at the right time. And, every game that I've played that I've sunk a ton of time into, like I've been playing a ton of Fantasy Life I, which has, the angler class or life that you're playing as. And that's, its own like subset of the gathering mini game. But I really was enjoying the NieR Replicant one because it's kind of a like radar rumble where you're using the left analog stick in like all 360 degree motion, but you're trying to find the position where the rumble is strongest and keep it and hold it in that position, and it moves over time. So you're kind of like finagling it and like making sure that you're constantly in the position along where the like highest rumble is, because that's when you're actually depleting the HP of the fish. And this was all to say, like, you're doing that once and that's fun, but like the very first like quest you get for it is, all right, catch 10 sardines, and it takes a while. You need to get bait. You need to get as much, like, you need to be able to afford like bait for that many fishing outings. You need to cast it. You need to wait for the fishing rod to bend, and that visual cue is the signifier for you actually having something on your line. And then you need to actually play the mini game, and like all of these steps take a lot of time. And in a different headspace, I would like look at that and say, I am not spending devoting this amount of time to just like catching 10 fish so that I can move on to the next one where I have to catch 7 more fish. And then I have to do another one where I have to catch 7 more fish in a different location with a different bait. And like,
do you get to upgrade your rod?
Time, yep. And like the entire time, like you're like, okay, well, this bait works with this fish. Like I need to learn. Yeah, there's so many different settings and locations and upgrades that you can like pay attention to, but like it slows the game down so much. Like when you have a like fishing mini game in a game that is, mostly like an action RPG shmup with like a lot of, setting and story and tons of other things going on, but at its core is like mostly an action game.
It's an action game for sure, yeah.
But yeah, to have everything like forcibly slow down and have you engage with it at such a different speed, and like that's what really was bumming me out about like the NieR Automata, like oversimplification of it, where it's like, okay, well now you've kind of taken out the purpose of the fishing mini game, at least in my eyes, which is to like kind of have you like meditate a little bit, like pay attention
pump the brakes
to, like,
for a second.
Yeah, like especially with the like rumble mini game of Replicant, like you have to pay attention, like you have to focus solely on this fish, and like that's the only thing you're paying attention to in that moment, and that's like a really nice feeling to have that like extreme tempo shift in the game.
That's great.
Yeah, that sounds like a really cool mini game. Actually, when you said, I think you called it like Rumble Radar at first, and I was like, is that like a Mario Party mini game or something?
It definitely feels like it could be.
So is there any like, other than like the rod like bending, and like is there any like visual representation? Like when you said that, I was like actually picturing there being like a little radar screen on the HUD or something somewhere, but is it all just like feel and just based on like the tension of the rod, or is it anything more than that?
I think there is some degree of visual cue, but it's not one-to-one with the position of the stick. Like, I don't think you're ever using the upper half of the analog stick. I think you're always pulling towards you on like, so it's like bottom 180 degrees, and like that doesn't necessarily translate to the position of the fish, but like left and right it does. So you're at least sense. Like narrowing it down to like a 90 degree like section of the 360 degree rotation. But like I found that I had way more success only going by rumble and not really paying attention to the like visual cues of it, which like
Gotcha.
Also, I don't know, kind of felt more like an actual fishing.
Yeah, it sounds really like intuitive. Yeah, it's almost making me wish there was like a similar like, it's making me kind of want to play like a fishing like VR game. That seems like it'd be really cool. Because you can get those controls can feel so tactile with that kind of stuff. But even the way you're describing it with the joysticks.
Was really sticking out to me was the fact that like I had also recently started playing Dredge, and like a while back, you know, I was playing Moonglow Bay, which are both just like, what if we made the entire game a fishing mini game? And like, for whatever reason, like those games don't necessarily hit with me in the way that like, you know, doing a full like Monster Hunter fishing mini game, or even like an Animal Crossing fishing mini game, like it just feels
Stardew Valley or something, just like a little side like diversion as opposed to being like the core conceit of the game.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just because I haven't found the like exact right one to hit like all the right buttons for me, or if, you know, I'm just not in the right headspace for those games, because, you know, like I started playing Dredge and it was really interesting. It was like, but there was, again, like a bunch of additional systems that were only in service of the fishing, whereas like NieR Replicant, the fishing minigame is self-contained, straightforward, and simple, whereas like in Moonglow Bay, they have like so many different types, like, and then the other things that you can do with the like, that's actually a thing that I really did like about Moonglow Bay, where it was like, okay, now you're cooking with the fish, and the way that you cook is just like how other games treat fishing mini games. So like Moonglow Bay is a nice like amuse-bouche of every type of fishing mini game that has ever been in a video game, where it's like, all right, this one is how you catch fish, and this one is how you catch fish in a different game, this one's how you catch fish in another game. So like it's nice like to,
I love that.
Fishing
mini games are almost always good for that matter, you know.
But I don't know, I kind of like it being a little respite, like it is kind of resting from the rest of the game. So I don't know, it hits harder in a game like NieR Replicant.
Did you get any MacGuffin for getting enough sardines that like is an effect outside of the fishing mini game?
Ooh, I don't know if I've definitely gotten stuff that makes it easier to catch larger fish. So it's just a nice good loop in that, where it's like, good, Good.
Yes.
Now I can play even more of the fishing minigame.
That sounds awesome though. Like that, the analog rumble part of it in particular, just like I want to try that out. I could see how intuitive like that could feel in a feedback loop with something very specific like fishing.
Yeah.
As someone that doesn't even fish and has never been good at fishing, but has always liked fishing mini games.
Ooh, I like fishing.
Yeah.
I don't like catching a fish. My favorite thing about fishing is sitting on a lake and being like, I hope nothing
Just
bites.
hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to de-hook this thing. Come
Right,
on.
exactly.
Yeah,
I was like, can
grab
I
it.
fish without a hook? Just put some bait on it and have like a fish take it and swim away. That would be my ideal situation.
Yeah, how about we just feed the fish?
Yeah, that's really it.
I wonder if you would like, John, there's this game I played a long time ago and just made a video for it. I think the developer or the publisher sent it our way. It's called Luna's Fishing Garden. The developer is called Cold Wild Games. They've actually made quite a few games that I actually like quite a bit. But it's like kind of like almost like, I don't want to oversell it by calling it a kingdom-like, but it's like, a side-scrolling kind of that kind of perspective. And then you just like kind of like build up your garden village. It's kind of like a Rusty's Retirement meets like fishing village. It's just like a side-scrolling, like it's just like a real casual,
this looks nice.
chill game. I just remember really enjoying the vibes of that one.
Oh, that's cute.
They've made a few other. I checked out like they've made some like shmups that I've played, but they've made this one game called Crown of Pain that was really cool as well. It was kind of like a match 3 puzzler, but it had some other elements. It's been a while since I checked it out, so I don't remember exactly what it was doing, but I remember just thinking it was pretty cool. And they have a few other games that have caught my attention, but I wonder if that would be like the right balance that you're looking for, where it's like it's not too much of a game, because like what was the name? Moonglow Island or
Moonglow Bay, yeah.
Because that game like looks cool, but it looks like it's trying to do like a Stardew scope kind of game. But like, if it's all based around fishing, I could see that getting old. Where if it's like just kind of like a Rusty's Retirement scope kind of thing, where it's just fire this up for 20-30 minutes at a time and catch a few fish and build a few things and move on.
Yeah,
That seems perfect.
Also thinking about how much I played like Ridiculous Fishing, which is exactly like nothing else other than just the fishing.
Yeah. That's supposed to be getting, if it hasn't already, getting like a new updated version coming out. So
yeah, Ridiculous Fishing's great, but that's also
I never played that, and I've always wanted to.
It's less of a fishing game and more of
a Vlambeer arcade game.
Yeah.
But heck yeah. I do love me some fishing in video games.
Oh, yeah.
In any capacity. Like even Ocarina of Time. Like I still vividly remember fishing in that game.
Twilight Princess
and getting sidetracked in it.
Fishing minigame. Like again, one of the things I love is just like
I was just
catalog, like show me that I caught the biggest version of this fish. I will get 100 of these if I can make that number go ever so slightly higher.
Fill the collection. Yep. Oh yeah, right, exactly, and get the biggest one.
Biggest length and biggest weight. That's
gotta win that contest. Yeah, man. But that just goes to show too, like it definitely seems to shine the most when it's just kind of a diversion in the game that just here's a little sidetrack, and then it somehow makes it more memorable because it's just like here's this thing that's totally different from everything else you're doing in this game.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff.
I love it.
But yeah, I don't know anything else that you guys want to gab about before we wrap things up for the evening here.
No, sir.
Nice. I'm glad we brought some UFO 50 to the table once again. Little fishing action. But yeah, as always, you can find us on the internet at pursuingpixels.com and pretty much everywhere else. Just look up Pursuing Pixels. And otherwise, until next week, we will catch you then and take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That is insane that the world record for 100% is an hour and 9 minutes.
That's completely nuts. Because in my experience, that Mario 3, I'm going to play every level in every world is like a 5-hour experience, 5-6 hours. It's in that range.
The last time I played it on Switch, I beat half the game in less than half an hour. I beat all the way through World 4 every level in less than a half an hour.
God damn.
Or maybe it was a little longer, but I just
yeah.
felt like I was just ripping through that game to the point where I was like bored. I was like, these levels are so boring. I'm just ripping through them in 5 seconds. I think I even talked about it. I was like,
through them all.
I was like complaining about it because I was like,
run for Mario 3 is 3 minutes.
Well, how does that even work?
I don't know, man.